Happy Easter, everybody. I hope you and your family got together, had some good food. And for those of you that don't celebrate Easter, I hope you just had a nice Sunday. It's April. The weather should be getting a little better, unless you're up there in Minnesota. I know y'all just dealt with some bullshit this past week. And just like the theme of the day, the podcast is coming back from the dead. If you're new to this, my name's Dre. This is my podcast, and I hope you enjoy. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. But before we get into it, if you could like, share, subscribe, comment, do for those of you that tune in regularly. You're appreciated, and those of you that are new, welcome. So I was going to talk about a bunch of stuff that happened in March in my time off, because we got this war with Iran. That's just a lot of content to talk about there. But I'll save that for a different time, because this past week has been something. And we're just going to talk about some of the things going on with these celebrities, whether that be Jaden Ivey, Tiger Woods, even Pooh Shiesty. I never thought I'd be talking about Pooh Shiesty on A Day with Dre, but nonetheless, here we are. All right, let's get into it. We got the basketball player from Purdue, got drafted by the Pistons. His career hasn't quite worked out to where he was drafted, and that none of that has anything to do with this conversation, though. This isn't really about him as a basketball player, more so that this conversation is about Jaden Ivey as a person. So he just got released from the Bulls a couple days ago, and that was after the Pistons trading him to the Bulls. Like I mentioned, he hasn't been living up to where he was drafted, whether it's been injuries or apparently other stuff he's been doing on the team. So the Bulls cut him for conduct detrimental to the team. Now, keep in mind, this is a professional sports team in the United States we're talking about. Do you know how much of a nuisance you have to be for a professional sports team to cut you, saying you're having conduct detrimental to the team? That's a long list when we're talking about stupid shit athletes have done and have stayed on teams. But he claims, so he went on live today, actually Instagram live today, saying, or maybe it was yesterday now, saying that he was cut for his Christian beliefs. Now, I'm not saying that the NBA is the most Christian league out there, but every time something happens, player comes back from injury, team wins a championship, one of the first things one of those people are going to get up on the podium and talk about is, first, I want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's just like people actually complain because they hear that too much. So again, you can say that doesn't make you a devout Christian or whatever, but the league's not going to the league's not going to cut you for having Christian beliefs. Let's just nip that in the bud. Okay. I mean, I didn't play in the NBA, of course. I didn't play in the NFL, of course, but I was a college athlete at a Division I school, and we try to mirror a lot of the policies that those organizations put in place. We had a team chaplain. Our team was heavily involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Our coach would constantly pray. Like, there's so much space to be a Christian athlete that if you're agreeing with someone that says that they're not being allowed to thrive as an athlete because they're a Christian, then you're just as delusional as they are. Because I promise you that is not a thing. All right. I can promise you that's not a thing. But with that being said, the part that caught the most flack with Jaden Ivey was he claims that it was his views towards the LGBTQIA plus community. And it was really about the Pride Month in the NBA, saying that they proclaim Pride Month, and so they're proclaiming the unrighteousness. And it's one thing to feel that way, but to be like harassing your teammates about it, constantly talking about it all the time, when this league, which is partnered with the WNBA, which WNBA is probably at least 50% lesbian, right? That's like a conservative estimate, right? The NBA's, they've had gay players, and even if they had none of that, it's just a Pride Month, right? It's, from their standpoint, it's no different than Latin American History Month or Black History Month. Like, It's all the same thing to them. They're just having months where they're shining a light on specific groups of people, just like the NFL has Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Like it is simply just a calculated measure for exposure on a certain group of people. Okay. You don't have to agree with or be a part of one of those groups of people, but it's not like the NBA putting any flack in LGBTQ month is or nights. I don't even know if they do a whole month night. It's not like they're saying our players need to go and be gay. But for some reason, and I know this happened in hockey and baseball, players have such a hard time just putting that goddamn patch on and just going and playing the game. It's not saying that you represent that community. It's just fucking playing the game with a different patch on your jersey. And to hide, they always want to hide around their Christianity religion when they're doing it. But those same players have no problem accepting millions of dollars to play a game when Christ lived poor. And the whole point of Christianity is to try to be Christ like. And I doubt any of these players are giving away 99% of their salary. They're going to say, well, we can't literally live like the Bible says, and we have to apply that to today's standards. Yet they're out here, doing God knows what with different women in all these different cities, living foul. But these Christians want to all of a sudden live by the Old Testament when it comes to how to deal with homosexuality. It just, I don't know. Of course, we know that people pick and choose when to stick by, even if it was so with Jaden Ivey, that he thinks but even if the NBA is disrupting your faith and what you believe personally when it comes to same sex relationships and same sex marriage, that still is not why, because apparently he was doing that when he was on the Pistons and the Pistons traded him. That still is not why he got cut, right? Apparently he was also asking reporters if they are having sex before marriage. Like, can you imagine you're interviewing a basketball player trying to talk about the game and he's like, yeah, but did you have sex before you were married? I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, that's conduct detrimental. You're trying to evangelize your teammates. Like, bro, they're there trying to play basketball. If they're not trying to be converted by you because they're trying to play basketball, then leave them be. And like that, how is that not? How do you not understand how that could be detrimental to a locker room? It's okay to be like, hey, are you interested in hearing about the gospel? But like, bro, we're in film study. Like, you miss a backdoor pass. Instead, you're like, well, if we trusted in Jesus, these plays would work out. It's like, no, these players aren't trying to hear that shit. Like, when they want you to step up, they're not trying to, God's not going to make the 3-pointer go in. Like, and you're injured and you're not doing the treatments that the team's prescribing because you're saying that God's going to heal your knee. They're putting these resources into you and you're just not using them, on top of being a headache and trying to use religion as the reason for you being a headache. And then on top of that, on top of the anti-gay stuff you're saying, you're also going on an anti-Catholic rant. You're for some reason calling out Steph Curry. And it's like, how are you going to go on an anti-Catholic rant when your mom coaches at Notre Dame and apparently she is a Catholic in order to coach at Notre Dame? Like, none of it makes sense. But you want to just make it seem like the NBA has an agenda against you because you don't agree with their stance on gay people. Like, come on, get real. Get fucking real. Like, you're talking about Catholics, you're talking about gay people, you're talking about Steph Curry. Like, yeah, you're not in. And then you want to say, well, when Anthony Edwards used the word queer, they didn't cut him and blah, 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 blah. It's just like Anthony Edwards was on a live and he said something along the lines of, look at those queer ass niggas or something like that. But whatever, I'm not going to get into that because, yeah, Anthony Edwards used the word in a way he wasn't supposed to use the word. Factual. Jaden Ivey didn't just use a word one time on a live. This dude's been harassing people about this stuff and going on rants and just disrupting his team. And he is not Anthony Edwards. So it is that simple. All right. And not too long ago, he was talking about how he thought about overdosing on pain meds. So, like, obviously, there's a huge proponent of mental health crisis going on here, and he is unraveling, and he's in like a religious psychosis, and he's probably grasping to religion with all his might because he feels like he's spiraling. That's my 2 cents from the outside looking in. I don't know that man from a stranger on the street because that's what he would be to me. So wish him, nothing but the best. And I hope that he can find peace and find peace in not harassing other people. But as I'm talking right now, something else comes up that he's, for some reason, at Auburn University, which is in Alabama. He's over there with a microphone and signs, and like he's become, you remember like when we were in high school and we had like Westboro Baptist Church, like he's running in that direction of Christianity. And unfortunately, like that's not good or healthy for anybody. And if you are too young to know who Westboro Baptist Church is, or you just don't know who they are, just look them up and you'll see the kind of unhinged shit that they're saying about people. And yeah, like for all you defending it and being like, what happened to freedom of speech? And it's just like, last time I checked, he didn't go to jail for anything he said. He is free to say what he wants, but his employer is also free to be like, yeah, we're not putting up with that shit. That's what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech just means your government's not going to come down on you. And last time I checked, there was no legal problems for what he did. His ass is free to be unemployed too. But yeah, man, it's just another reminder that rich and famous people are fucking wild and out here. They lose their minds. And not to be outdone, other rich people that decided to get into some shit over the past week. We have a frequent flyer on what the hell are you doing? And that's Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods once again flipped a car, apparently on some shit. So at the very least, what comes out of this with Tiger Woods is, can he have his license taken away? Like, can Tiger Woods have his license taken away? How many cars is he going to total? How many cars is he going to flip over? And this is just what we know about because he's damaged other things. So like we know about it. This is Tiger Woods. How many times has he just probably been in other fender benders and other shit like that where it's just been people have been paid to make the story go away? Hopefully none, but it's hard for me to believe that Tiger Woods hasn't been in other shit that we just don't know about because some of the things he's just gotten into were too public to make go away. But yeah, he cannot fucking drive. So like take his license away. But yeah, Tiger Woods got arrested for a DUI, flipped his car over, refused the urine test, but took a breathalyzer test. So basically, he was on some other shit. Like he wasn't drunk, but when you refuse a urine test, that's like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna pop positive for something. And then when they arrested him, they found oxycodone in his pockets, and like hopefully none of y'all have to have been on oxy or had to take oxy, but like that shit, it'll get you out of there. And he's just taking this shit and driving. And it's like no wonder he keeps flipping cars. And I understand that he's had all types of surgeries, back surgeries, knee surgeries, broken legs, all types of torn Achilles, all types of shit. But it's like you don't get an excuse to keep doing this because you're gonna kill somebody or yourself. And it's a miracle that he hasn't done it. And we need to stop allowing him to do this, have surgery or whatever, then get back behind the wheel of a car. And I know it's like Tiger needs to get rid of all the yes men in his life before he loses his life. He needs people that are going to keep it real with him and be like, and maybe he has that. Maybe he's just Tiger Woods and he's just like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But he's out of control. And I understand now he's going to go to rehab. He should have went to rehab a long time ago. A long time ago. If you need to be on those pain meds to function in life, like then it's just time to like I hate to say it because like the only reason I know anything about golf is because of Tiger Woods, but it just might be time to walk away from that. Stop trying to get back to a point where you can get back on the golf course, it's probably done. Because if you need to do that to drive, then you also are going to need to be on some shit to golf. And if you're on pain meds like that, you can't golf well either. Like, if you can't drive a car, you probably can't golf. I can't golf for shit. So I know he's obviously still going to be better than the average person. But to get back to the level he wants to be at, like that shit's it's dead. It's cooked. But with that being said, I hope he gets the help that he needs because although he's on like chance 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever, like I don't know, he's not a. I guess that was kind of a criminal thing to do, but like I don't know, he might not be a criminal, but like he just again he's out of touch. And then when he got pulled over, he told the sheriff he was just on the phone with the president, and it's like, you think the president's going to get you out of this? I'm driving while I'm high. I probably shouldn't be. Let me see if the president can fix this for me. And that's I don't know if that was the case, but that's definitely the vibes. That is definitely the vibes. Like if I got pulled over and I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just got off the phone with the president." Like it makes it sound like I'm above whatever sentencing you're about to try to apply to me, whatever judgment you're going to apply to me in that situation. But I will say we got some legendary memes out of it. Some legendary memes. So at the very least, like we had the like Tiger Big Dog memes, and now we got him kneeling. And he just then even in I know he wasn't drunk, but the kneeling meme just it it was perfect for Easter because it's like looks like the drunk uncle outside on Easter trying to, you know, play with just thinking he can still play with the kids or something like that. Some great memes came out of it. I will say that. But last but not least on the what the fuck is going on with the celebrities today is Gucci Man and Pooh Shiesty. So apparently, a couple months back, there were some rumors about this on the internet, and people were just like, "Oh no, there's no way that really happened. It can't be real." But apparently, Pooh Shiesty, who just did like a 4-year bid, got out just this past October. Wanted to get out of his contract and organized a meeting with Gucci Man, who runs a record label, because he felt like he had outperformed his deal, which he did. I think I mean, he blew up. It was making way more money than his deal was providing him, and in living up to his name, he organized the armed robbery slash kidnapping of Gucci Man and associates and got out of he forced them at gunpoint to get out of the contract. Now, the idiotic part about this is shortly after, I guess it was like him and or maybe I don't know if he was present, but there were 8 individuals associated with him that have documented that they were on their way there, posting on Instagram, letting them know, "Oh, we're going to go from Memphis to Texas, where Gucci Man is. We're going to get this taken care of." And then after they robbed him, they're posting stuff wearing the same clothes, posting some of the stuff that they took, including a 1017 chain, which is like obviously that's Gucci Man's chain. They took his wedding ring, earrings, bunch of watches, and cash, choked someone out until they were about to pass out. And it's just like, man, you just got out of jail. You were just in prison for 4 years. So you're probably on probation, right? Especially when it was gun related charges, can't be involved with anything crime related. So why are you on live talking about I had to get mine? And it's just like what and people are talking about, oh yeah, that's gangster. No, that's stupid. That's just is stupid. Like you're mad about the money you lost, so now you send yourself to prison for possibly the rest of your life where you can never touch that money again. Over what? The principle? What principle? You're never going to enjoy freedom again. What's the principle in that? Like, like seriously. So you can go back to jail and other people will be like, yeah, but you stood 10 toes. I stand free. Fuck a 10 toes down. Like, are you serious? And what blows my mind is that so many people, and I wish I could just say it's the kids, but like I'm only a few years older than him, and it's not even the kids because his damn daddy was involved. Like we talk about where are the parents? Are the parents absent? Are the parents this? Man, there's this picture of him. and his dad, if you're watching the live version or the video, you can see this picture of him and his dad. And like as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, man, he never had a damn chance. And I hate to stereotype based off a picture, but it's like he never had a damn chance. His daddy is looking just as wild. There is one thing to be said about people that like when you're in that gang culture, like it's not a phase, it's for life. But we should be striving to be better, to be different. You finally got money. Like for real, you finally got money. Isn't the whole point of getting money is so you can move on? Like I think about my own family. I wasn't in the shit like they were into, but I got some wild people in my family. But my dad's goal was to be better than his dad, and his dad's goal was to be better than his dad. And my great grandpa, my grandpa, they both have bodies on them. But my dad, while it's not like my dad wasn't in the streets doing stuff, but my dad wasn't what they were. And my dad wanted to make sure that we weren't what he was. And it's like, where is that disconnect with people? You want to talk about how the streets are fucked up and all this, but you can't get away from it. Like you're addicted to that insane lifestyle. And it's crazy because so many people that have never been touched by any of that glorify it, and but they don't understand how that ruins lives, because now that those are some kids that now they're going to grow up without their dad. Gonna It's just gonna keep this cycle going and going and going, and it's so stupid. But if you want to handle business, but you want to handle business like it's the streets, and that doesn't work. And people are like, "Oh, Gucci man snitch." First of all, we don't even know if it was Gucci. He robbed a. It was there were people there. Like, you think you're gonna go in and get out of a legal business deal with an armed robbery, holding guns at people? Like, you think somehow no, there's no way the police are gonna be involved in that when you're working with business people? Now, Gucci man, like, he has that reputation, and he went to jail. He came out. He's probably like, "I'm not going back." But you don't know what the people associated with him are like. They could have snitched on you. Like, I don't even want to say a snitch. It's not You're not a snitch if you're not in the streets and some street people do some shit to you, you're not a snitch. That's Leave that word for the other people in the streets. And don't let these internet kids that don't know nothing about street life try to dictate what's real and what's not. Because nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. They want to act tough on the computer. But it's like it's just an example of sometimes people are just lost, and they're lost from the time they're a kid. This hilarious video of Dr. John when he's like, some of our kids are too far gone and we're gonna have to put some of them to sleep for good. But I was just like, yeah, he's wild. And but then I think about it and it's just like, no, he's right. And it's like, where's that line? Because I hate to be a proponent of like prison pipeline and keeping prisons full, because I think that prisons are meant to rehab people. But I don't know. Then I start reading about situations like this, and part of me is just like, well, he's only 26, but I'm like, his dad's in his 40s, maybe 50s. What is he doing? What is he doing? What kind of leader are you? You're leading your son into this still? Like what? When is the time to leave people behind? Because you can't take everybody with you. And there are certain people that are just not safe to be members of the community. And maybe that's our fault because we glorify it too much and we listen to the music. It's like we should have known better. Like this dude got onto the scene for his song called Back in Blood. So yeah, he's living that. And it's all cool and dandy when it's coming through the speakers. But people are living that shit. And he's proof. He's living it. He stood 10 toes down and now he'll never rock another chain again, assuming what the reports are true. Now, again, it's all just allegations. We could be completely wrong. But if what the reports are true, then he did all that woofing, all that rapping for what? To spend the rest of his life locked up and his goofy ass dad with him. And they think they had a cousin with them and a couple other friends with them. And it's just like You have these crash dummies with you, and everybody just threw away their life over what? Because you felt disrespected about some bread. You could have got it if you went about it like a businessman. Because he told you no one time. Because he told you no a couple times. That's what there's different ways to go about it. And now you won't be able to negotiate again. And guess what? You won't see any of that money because it doesn't matter how many times people stream your music. You're gonna have bragging rights in the jail. Good. Keep it. Keep it. But yeah. So obviously like leaving people behind when it comes to like people that have violent past, violent history, like that's a different story. But like even for people like Tiger Woods or Jaden Ivey, like when is enough for people like that? Tiger Woods, he's had a lot of chances. All right. It just might be time to give up on him. He still has this images of being this wholesome person and blah 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 blah. But like, yo, that's not who that was the image. That was a facade. That's not who Tiger is. Going from the top golfer in the world to like it somehow like has like this underdog reputation and like we feed into it, we buy into the storyline, but like that's just not who he is. He's an addict that needs help, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. But it's time for us to turn our backs on him in the sense of like wanting him to get back to the glory he had. And he wants to get back to the glory he had. And I think that's what's forcing him to keep living life the way he's living. It's time to let that shit go. And like with the basketball player, Ivy, like who knows? I think he's in some like religious mental breakdown, psychosis situation right now. So it's like he's, you know, mid 20s. It's his life is not over. And I hope that he eventually finds happiness, but that happiness shouldn't come at the expense of being so harsh and so judgmental on other people, especially on this Easter Sunday when the person you are celebrating today is famously known for not passing judgment on others. And like his whole thing was just to love thy neighbor like thyself. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's what Mr. Ivy's doing. Those of you that are just like, yeah, NBA, cut him because NBA's got to protect their like gay interests. Like that's just a lazy take. But then again, what do what should I expect? Like we're just we look for any shortcut to try to express our hatred and our bigotry. And like honestly, I would just prefer him to be like, whatever, like I just don't like those people instead of trying to hide behind the guise of religion. I wouldn't respect the opinion, but I'd be like, at least you're honest with yourself, because that's really what it comes down to. Be honest with yourself and stop trying to masquerade behind other reasoning for the crazy shit you're saying. But yeah, I hope y'all had a great Easter, and I hope your April started off well. I know it's the stormy season, but stay safe out there, and I'll be back soon with another one. Appreciate y'all. Peace.